What if someone took a superbike, 175 horsepower worth of pure fury, and shoved it inside a classic American cruiser? Most people would say that's insane. Buell actually did it, and the result is something that's going to make every Harley and Indian owner seriously reconsider their life choices. Welcome back to Motometrics. Today, we're breaking down the 2026 Buell Super Cruiser, the most powerful American production cruiser ever built. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why this bike has the entire industry shook. But first, let's talk about why this thing even exists. Buell has always been the rebellious little brother of American motorcycling. Eric Buell spent years at Harley-Davidson before going out on his own, building naked sport bikes with hot-rodded Sportster motors. The brand had its ups and downs. Some of you old heads remember the 1190 RS in 2011, the struggles that followed, and how the company eventually fizzled out in 2015 before being revived. But Buell never went away. They just went quiet until they came back with something nobody saw coming. In early 2023, Buell CEO Bill Melvin sat down with Roland Sands, yes, that Roland Sands, one of the most legendary names in custom motorcycle culture, and they asked one simple question: what if we built the performance cruiser that Harley-Davidson never had the guts to make? Roland Sands reportedly said, and I'm paraphrasing here, "Is Harley gonna look at this thing and say, we should have built that bike?" Spoiler alert, yeah, probably. Now, let's talk about what they actually built, because the numbers on this thing are genuinely absurd. The Super Cruiser is powered by a liquid-cooled 1190cc V-twin with a compression ratio of 13.4 to 1, producing a claimed 175 horsepower with peak torque arriving at 8,500 RPM. Rider Magazine. Just so we're clear, your typical Harley-Davidson Stride Glade is pushing around 90 horsepower, the Indian Chief around 78. The Buell Super Cruiser is nearly double that, on a cruiser that sits low to the ground, with a cafe-style fairing. It makes absolutely zero sense on paper, and that is exactly why it's brilliant. The 6-speed transmission is matched to a hydraulically actuated clutch with a slipper function, and power hits the rear wheel through a 520 Z-ring chain. Ultimate motorcycling. That's sport bike engineering packaged inside something that looks like it just rolled out of a custom garage in 1987. And honestly, that's the point. Okay, pause. Real quick, do you know what inspired the whole design of this thing? It's the Harley FXR. The same bike that Eric Buell himself helped design back in the day. So Buell basically took Eric's old work, said, nice foundation, we're adding 175 horsepower to this, and sent it. That's either genius or madness. Possibly both. Now, the looks. Because a bike like this has to look the part, right? The design is inspired by the classic Harley FXR, which many riders consider the gold standard for American bikes. It carries a club-style aesthetic, nose fairing, a blacked-out look, and tall handlebars. Viking bags. Up front, there's a cafe-style fairing from Memphis Shades framing a round LED headlight, and the rider sits on a custom saddleman seat. Auto Evolution. The whole thing is finished in black, just one color option, with an aluminum fuel tank that wears that same dark tone. It's clean, it's mean, and it doesn't try to be flashy. It doesn't have to. Standard equipment includes Fox suspension front and rear, a Brembo dual-disc brake system, and Dunlop SportMax Q5A tires. Buell motorcycles. That's not cruiser-grade hardware. That's track-spec hardware on a bike with forward pegs and a low seat. Think about that for a second. The Buell Super Cruiser weighs only 450 pounds, which makes it feel like a sports bike dressed in cruiser style. Viking bags. For reference, a Harley Road King tips the scales at over 800 pounds. So not only does the Buell have nearly twice the power of most cruisers, it's also significantly lighter. The power-to-weight ratio on this thing is genuinely terrifying, in the best way possible. But here's where things get interesting, and this is the part I really want you to pay attention to. Buell enlisted Roland Sands to build a low-slung bike around the company's potent motor, and the result was a hot rod cruiser that leans on the heritage of the legendary FXR chassis, American Rider. But they didn't just slap a sport bike engine into a cruiser frame and call it a day. Buell's traditional aluminum frame was abandoned in favor of a steel tube frame to deliver a low stance and to ease customization, American rider. So they actually rethought the whole platform from the ground up to make this work. And based on every rider who's thrown a leg over a prototype, it absolutely does work. One reviewer called it the closest thing to an FXR with 175 horsepower. Another said there is simply no other production cruiser that delivers performance at this level. And these are people who've ridden everything. So when they say that, it carries weight. All right, let's talk money, because this is where some of you are going to either nod your head or close the app. The 2026 Buell Super Cruiser carries an MSRP of $25,900, roughly $9,000 to $10,000 more than most of its cruiser competition. Viking bags. Early pre-order buyers locked in at $23,900, but that window has closed. And yeah, that's a premium price. But here's the thing. What other production cruiser on the market is offering 175 horsepower, Fox suspension, Brembo brakes, and Roland Sands design language? There isn't one. Buell isn't competing with the Harley Softail. They're competing with a category that didn't exist before they created it. The company had already racked up $120 million worth of pre-orders before the bike even hit production. That tells you everything you need to know about how hungry riders are for something like this. Now here's what I want you to think about before we wrap up, because this is the bigger picture that nobody's really talking about. Buell didn't just build the Super Cruiser. They also have a Super Touring variant using the same 1190cc engine tuned to 185 horsepower and 102 pound-feet of torque, designed for longer distance riding and coming at a future date. Auto Evolution. More power, same platform, built for the highway. I don't know about you, but that has my full attention. So where does the 2026 Buell Super Cruiser land? It's not for everyone. It's raw, it's fast, it's expensive, and it comes from a brand that's still proving itself at scale. But if you're a rider who's been waiting for an American motorcycle that treats performance as a priority instead of an afterthought, this is it. This is the bike that changes the conversation. Buell built the cruiser that Harley never would, and the industry is gonna feel it. If you made it this far, you're clearly the kind of rider who wants more than just specs. You want the full picture. So keep the momentum going. There's another video queued up right on your screen right now. Hit that, and let's keep riding. See you in the next one.